Imagine this. You are given a page and asked to compare a set of lines. On the left of the page is a line of a certain size, and on the right, 3 lines of varying sizes that you are asked to compare with and match to the line on the left. What would be your answer? If you said B, you would be correct. But let's change the situation. Suppose you were given the same experiment, but in the presence of other people. Would this change your answer? This is precisely what Solomon Asch wanted to investigate in 1951. According to Social Psychology's 7th edition by Arneson et al., Asch gathered participants to engage in the study, and Confederates who were instructed to give the wrong answers. The idea was to test whether social pressures from groups influenced the participants to conform. And what was the outcome? 1/3 of participants conformed, with 76% of participants conforming at least once. In each of these scenarios, the participants gave answers they knew were wrong. But why? Why would participants give answers that they knew were wrong? It all comes down to conformity. Conformity is defined as a real or imagined influence from other people that change behavior. In Asch's line experiment, most participants gave the wrong answer because they didn't want to feel left out. This is what we call the normative social influence. But despite what you might be thinking right now, conformity touches each and every single one of our lives every day. Have you ever changed your outfit because of what other people might think? Behaved differently or used slang in order to fit in and feel accepted? Or followed a crowd out of a concert believing they knew which way was the exit, despite not knowing this for certain? Each of these falls down to conformity. Understanding conformity can give insight into behaviors of other people and explain why they act the way they do. Bullying and views people have on their own body image are some of the biggest examples. In many recent studies, it has been found that the normative social influence is responsible for increased body dissatisfaction within females in many countries, predominantly North American ones. It even stretches to the point where females tend to perceive themselves as overweight despite being within normal range. But why? Why does this matter? What benefit comes from understanding this social phenomenon? For that, we must travel back in time. In the early 60s, Stanley Milgram wanted to study obedience, which is conformity as a result of an authority figure. This figure could be anyone, a teacher, a soldier, or even a scientist. Milgram wanted to understand how normal, average people were able to carry out heinous acts of violence. For this, he devised an experiment. A participant, known as the teacher, would ask questions to a learner in another room over an intercom. Unbeknownst to the teacher, the learner was an actor and not in any real danger. The teacher was sitting in front of a switchboard with switches labeled from 15 to 450 volts. At every incorrect answer, the teacher was instructed to deliver shocks to the learner, increasing in intensity at every wrong answer given by the learner. Most psychology majors and psychiatrists estimated that only 1 to 2% of participants would reach 450 volts. And the results? 62.5% of participants delivered 450 volts, with 80% continuing to deliver shocks despite protests from the actor. With continued pressure from the authority figure, in this case the presiding researcher, average people were able to administer significantly high voltages, causing what they believe to be real harm. So what are the implications of this study? The pressure conformity puts on an average human is much greater than most people think. In fact, most people downgrade the impact conformity has and its ability to influence one's behavior. Milgram's study reveals that people's morals can very easily be diminished with the pressure of an authority figure. Consequentially, it also reveals that people should question authority figures more often. Given that real harm can come to people as a result of obedience, Milgram's study reveals what can happen when fallible people with power are listened to without question. It shows the dangers of listening and trusting blindly, and that no one should be followed solely for the fact that they have power.